Charanam Ganesha, Ganesha Charanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Charanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Charanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Siddhi Vinayaka Sharanam Ganesha, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Charanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Ganesha Charanam, Sharanam Ganesha, Charanam, Sharanam Ganesha. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahano Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Dayakaram Dayakaram Dantam Dharma Pravartakam Pranamami Dayanandam Madacharya Paramparam. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. I was asked by a couple of people studying with me here to speak about bhakti. So I thought, the best line from Kaivalya Upanishad is Tasmai sahovacha pitamahascha śraddhā-bhakti-dhyānayogād-avaihi. So bhakti comes there and also 2 more sadhanas which are very important in spiritual pursuit. So Bhagavan mentions here, Tasmai hovacha pitamahascha shraddha. The Upanishad gives 3 dispositions of the mind. So these are certain attitudes one needs for the spiritual pursuit. Shraddha we see throughout, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna's Shraddhavan labhate jnanam, the one with Shraddha gains this knowledge, and Acharyavan Purusho Veda, because Shraddha definition, Shraddha Guru Vedānta Vakyeshu iti Vishvasaha. So Vishvasaha means a relaxation in the words of Vedanta. A certain relaxation, more than faith, it is a relaxation in the words of the Guru. Unfortunately or fortunately, Vedanta comes as a package deal. With Vedanta, you have to have the teacher. So the teacher is the key to unfolding the words of Vedanta. And we find that all definitions of Shraddha include Guru Vakyasya Satya Buddhi Avadharana. We see in another definition in Viveka Chudamani. So Shraddha is this faith in the veracity of the words as revealed by the teacher, as revealed by the Guru. And for that, we need what we call Pramana Buddhi. So Pramana Buddhi is very important in this pursuit of Vedanta. Prama Karanam iti Pramanam, that which gives rise to knowledge is Pramanam. And we all know we have 5 Pramanas at our disposal, which are the sense organs. So everything is externally pointed. The eyes reveal form and color, nose reveals smell, tongue reveals taste, the skin reveals touch, and ears reveal sound. We all know that these are the means of knowledge to bring in knowledge of the external world. That is why in Sanskrit, beautiful word given for sense organs, jnanendriya, the organs of knowledge. So these jnanendriyas, we have so much vishvasaha in the jnanendriyas. I don't always question my eyes. If I was questioning my eyes and my ears and my nose all the time, I wouldn't be able to live in life. We live in life with a certain relaxation in the sense perceptions. We have Shraddha in so many things in life, not just our senses. We have Shraddha, we have faith. When we're sick, we go to the doctor. Do we not have Shraddha that he will prescribe the right medicine for our disease? We have Shraddha in the taxi driver. If I say go to this place, generally we hope that we will reach our destination. More than that, when we sit in the hairdresser's chair, where he brings the knife and the scissors, what Shraddha we have. We are totally relaxed with the hairdresser. So we do find a certain relaxation in many areas of our life. That is the attitude that the Kaivalya Upanishad and other texts ask for, this attitude of relaxation in this Vedanta Vakya. Because Veda reveals what the other Pramanas cannot reveal. So I am not going into Pramana Vichara here. You all know that the Veda is the 6th Pramana. It is talking about the imperceptible. We only deal with perceptibles, but Veda deals with imperceptible. And Veda, what does Veda talk about? We learn from Veda Swarga, we learn from Veda karma, the law of karma, drishta, adrishta. We learn so many things that we cannot perceive from the Veda. So it is an independent means of knowledge which does not contradict the other means of knowledge at our disposal. So it does not, like the eyes cannot contradict the ears, The eyes cannot blame the ears. Oh, you didn't hear that very well. And the ears can't blame the tongue, saying you didn't taste that properly. Because they are all independent, they have their independent sphere of operation. In the same way, Veda also has its own independent sphere of operation, which is dealing in the imperceptible. So in this imperceptible means of knowledge, this Shraddha is developed. Many people ask, how do I develop Shraddha? I really don't have an answer for that. Because it is really Ishvara's grace. Grace to have this. There is something that clicks in the mind. When Vedanta is heard or it is unfolded, there is a certain connection that happens, and there is something that happens to feel that this is the right thing. There is something true said to this. And Swami Dayananda used to beautifully unfold Shraddha as a commitment pending discovery. So even though you haven't quite understood what Vedas are saying, or Vedanta, we're talking Vedanta is saying, there is a commitment pending discovery. So we have to wield the pramana by ourselves to understand what the pramana does. Nobody can wield it for you. There's no proxy. We say this in a word in English, proxy. You can't ask somebody else to use the pramana and you get the knowledge. Like you ask somebody else to vote and your vote is placed. It doesn't work like that. Each one has to have a level of commitment to this Veda that talks about the imperceptible. And we saw in Vedānta, which is the final portion, we know, the unfoldment is of this one entity, Brahman, this consciousness, all-pervasive truth. One of my favorite mantras from the Upanishads is from Mundaka Upanishad. Yattad adreshyam agrahyam agotram avarnam achakshushrotram tadapani padam nityam vibhum sarvagatam susukshmam tadavyayam yad bhuta yonim paripashyanti dhiraha. So Brahman is that which cannot be perceived, cannot be grasped, does not have a source or lineage, is without properties, without eyes, without ears, without hands, without legs. And Brahman is that timeless, all-pervasive, very subtle truth of this universe, the one that becomes many, imperishable, material cause of all beings. And the discriminative ones, the dhiraha, they are the ones who recognize. Paripashyanti means not just see. We cannot see with the eyes. Whenever we see these words of seeing in the Shastra, it is recognition. Cognitively recognize this one as the all-pervasive one. So Shraddha means I have a certain commitment to the words of Vedanta that reveal this one truth. The other definition of Shraddha is Guru Vedanta. So Guru Vakyeshu. Guru Vakyeshu we also take. Why do we need a guru? So there's a traditional, nowadays we have management guru, this guru, that guru, all the, but traditionally, what is a guru? So there's a verse, Gukaras tvandvakaro vai, rukaras tanni vartakaha, andakaro nirodhatvat, guru it yabhidiyate. The one who removes the ignorance of darkness, the ignorance of self is the real teacher. So this guru, there is a certain vishvasaha, a relaxation in the words of the guru. And this guru, teacher, can help relieve you of the disease that no other doctor can relieve you from. What is that disease? Samsara disease. So he is a spiritual doctor. I call the guru spiritual doctor. And we have a lot of physical doctors that reveal the physical diseases. But here, his guidance is in way of unfolding the words of Vedanta, coming in a traditional lineage that also becomes important in our way of learning. The tradition also unfolds the words of Vedanta according to the way the clarity is meant to be given to the listeners. Guru Vakyeshu, also in Vyavaharika, that realm of transactional reality also, many times people go to gurus, teachers for Vyavaharika instruction. So this Vyavaharika also I have Shraddha in. If the guru says something is good for me in my life, then I have Shraddha in the Vyavaharika Vakyeshu, not just the Paramarthika Vakyeshu. So here, a very beautiful qualification. Commit yourself to the teacher and teaching until you discover for yourself the vision, until you see for yourself what the teacher also sees. So in Krishna says, Shraddha-vanto anasuyantaha muchyante tepi karma bihi. In the Gita, many times he brings in this word. And we all know that when Krishna repeats something again and again, it is not repetition, it is reiteration, reinforcement. It is a quality, a disposition that even the Upanishad talks about. So very important to cultivate in our life. Another thing with Shraddha is that when I come to Vedanta, sometimes we come with a lot of concepts. So, we bring, all the book knowledge we've read. We've read so many paperbacks. Swamiji will always talk about the paperback reading. We have watched so many YouTube videos. There are so many people on YouTube that also talk about Advaita Vedanta or things connected. And my mind is riddled with so many concepts when I come to the class. Shraddha is being able to put my mind out. When I do Shravanam, I am totally available. My mind is like a clean slate, available for Vedanta to work its wonders. Because, as Swamiji was saying, it is not a question of theory and practice. There is no practice here after doing the Shravanam. It is you. The knowledge becomes you. So when you face challenges in life, the vritti arises that helps you face that challenge. Swami Dayananda said beautifully, again, I always remember Swamiji, such clarity and vision, and some of the things he said, never can you forget. When people come and ask, how do you know I've spiritually progressed? So I asked Swamiji, people keep asking, how do I know? I also asked Swamiji, how do we know if we spiritually progressed? He said, when your vyavahara becomes easier, then you have, grown spiritually. So interestingly, we have a dichotomy between worldly life and spiritual life. Swamiji beautifully says, this whole life is spiritual. Where is not spiritual life? My vyavaharika reality is living the words that, Vedanta unfolds as well. So the easier my transactional reality becomes, the more Vedanta has seeped in and has been assimilated. That is the measure of spiritual and emotional maturity as well. So the teacher is the gateway to unraveling the words of Vedanta. Shraddha is not a blind belief either, because beliefs can always change. Beliefs can shift. Beliefs can become fundamental and also fanatic as well. Many fanatics are great believers in religion, but knowledge is not a belief. Knowledge is a fact. 9 + 1 = 10, if I tell you, is it a belief or is it a fact? It is a fact. Tattvam asi. If you take Veda as pramana, Vedanta as pramana, Tattvam asi, you are that, is a fact. It is a fact to be understood, not to be believed in. Ishvara is a fact. Swamiji always used to say, is a fact to be understood, not an entity to be believed. This Shraddha is a very beautiful commitment to the words of Vedanta, the words of the Guru, of the teacher. Now the next disposition of mind is bhakti. So bhakti, I come from a background of bhakti. So I find, it doesn't contradict Vedanta. A lot of people say, does the bhakti background contradict Vedanta? With the bhajan, singing and all of this, seva, it does not. Because bhakti has to be understood as a practice. So bhaj sevayam, it comes from the root, bhaj sevayam, which includes service, devotion, worship. All elements are included in that word bhakti. It is pregnant with meaning. So bhakti is a commitment also. But whereas Shraddha is a commitment to the Guru and the words of Vedanta, bhakti is a commitment to Ishvara. Bhakti, the commitment to Ishvara, does Ishvara need our commitment? We don't see Gangadhareshwara saying, give me your commitment, I want your devotion. No. Actually, it means a commitment to gaining the grace of Ishvara. So even bhakti is a practice for oneself. It is not that we are doing anything for Bhagavan. Bhagavan doesn't need us to do anything for him. It is for our own sake. So bhakti is a commitment for gaining grace, anugraha of Ishvara. Why do we need anugraha? What is anugraha? Anugraha is something you grasp after. Anugraha. You invoke devotion. You invoke the grace in the life. We need grace, this grace factor, extra factor, devam, luck factor, to be at the right place, right time, right situation. We need this grace for obstacles that arise suddenly in our lives. In our spiritual pursuit as well, imagine you had booked your, trip to come here for this camp. And suddenly, some relative gets sick and then you're distracted, you have to go there. So many obstacles can suddenly arise in our life. So the main three sources are the Daivika obstacles from natural calamities, are the Bhautika tapahas that come from immediate surroundings, neighbors, mosquitoes. Sitting for dhyanam and I'm giving blood donation at the same time. It's very, very difficult. By the way, if you want to meditate, take me along because they usually come to me because they know UK blood. But all these tapahas always come in our, without our volition. Suddenly they manifest. And we have also the worst kind of tapa, which is the adhyatmika tapa. Things that come from within. My mind doesn't bless me to study properly. My mind doesn't help me to commit. So Vedānta, again Swamiji used to say, two things bring up the kashaya inside. There's a stuff inside. When the conscious mind is not put to anything, which happens in ashrams, generally you're away from all the roles you play, you're away from everything in the external world. So you come to the ashrama Gurukula, you're with yourself more. What happens? Conscious mind is put in abeyance for some time, unconscious starts coming up. It is very natural, it happens for everybody. Unconscious, some people have more, some people have less. And when the unconscious comes up, it is adhyatmika tapaha. It may prevent you from doing many things. It has to be released. It has to come out. Two things Swamiji used to say, bring out the unconscious: marriage and Vedānta. So if you're not married, then Vedānta, if you're studying Vedānta, that may come up as well. So we need to neutralize these duritas also. That's why we say in the pujas, mamopata samasta durita kshaya dvara Shri Parameshwara Prityartham. For our spiritual lives also, all these duritas, these obstacles need to be neutralized. That's why we need grace. We need commitment to Ishvara, invoke the unknown factor that makes the difference between success and difficulty as well. I don't like to say failure because nothing's a failure. It is just an obstacle. Things take longer, okay? But with grace, we can ward off that time as well. So we have to also understand grace. Grace is punya palam. Actually, you're speeding up your punya palam. That's how I understand it. You want to invoke Ishvara as karma paladata, giver of results. Ask him to speed up your punya and ward off the papa karma. So bhakti becomes a great tool in one's life, a practice to invoke that grace of Ishvara. And living bhakti, even one step further, when I live this devotion, I see all as prasada. What is karma yoga lifestyle? A karma yogi is not a non-devotee. A karma yogi is very much a devotee. In karma yoga, I live with this bhakti attitude because everything I do is what? Ishvara arpanam. Unto that Ishvara, unto that universal order of karma and dharma. And whatever I get back, whatever situations manifest for me in my life, I take as prasada. Whether successful situations, I don't care about. We're all happy with, what we want. What we want or more than what we want, we are very happy with. But what about less than what I want? What about opposite to what I want? That is where Ishvara in one's life helps me, that grace helps me to accept situations. And how do I invoke Ishvara's grace? So there are two ways that the Shastra gives. Ishta karmas are these prayers, these rituals, and all these traditional forms of invoking grace, going to temple. But the world is large. There are many people who don't go to temples. Do they not have access to Ishvara's grace? Even many people don't go to church. They're atheists. And, so many people in the world. So it is not just limited to just Ishta karma. There is another way of invoking grace also. They may not know it, but serving others, purta karma, reaching out, charitable activities is also a way of gaining this grace of Ishvara. So where is he not is the question. We understand Ishvara as what? As the universal orders that pervade the whole world, Jagat. Ramana Maharishi says in Upadeshasaram, beautiful verse, Jagada Ishadi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Brit Deva Pujanam. Jagada Ishadi, this whole Jagat, this Ishvara pervades the whole Jagat. And just giving you the gist of the verse, your altar is not reserved to a tiny room or a tiny place in your home. Where is the altar for Ishvara? It is the whole Jagat is the altar. So whoever I meet is Ishvara. Whatever I do is Ishvara in the world. Whatever I face is Ishvara. The whole altar is Ishvara. With that bhavana, so your puja room is the whole Jagat. As soon as you step out, feel that this whole place, this is Ishvaraha. Ashtamurti Brit is in the eightfold form. The two luminaries, 5 elements, and the jiva. So all the eightfold forms contained in that understanding of Ishvara. So relating to Ishvara is, we can relate mechanically or we can relate with knowledge. Knowledge means I understand what Ishvara is. When we are in Vyavahara, relating to Ishvara is always in Saguna, right? Saguna Ishvara. Saguna Ishvara is the Ishvara with form, like a wave. If you look at it as the total, samashti, which is the ocean, and the wave, the individual, vyashti, how does the wave relate to the ocean? Wave feels what? I'm a part of the ocean. I belong to the ocean. If I pray to the ocean. So this is how the samashti and vyashti are never separate. And Ishvara also is understood as non-separate even on the physical level. It's so beautiful to see that biological order that pervades me. That same biological order pervades the whole Jagat. Every form is pervaded by the biological order that is Ishvara, the physical order that is Ishvara, the chemical order that is Ishvara. Science actually studies Ishvara. Scientists may not like to hear that. But science is actually studying Ishvara. All the orders that pervade me and pervade this whole universe are nothing but Ishvara alone. So Swamiji beautifully said in the meditation this morning, where are we separate from Ishvara even physically? Physically there's no separation. Even from each other, where are we separate physically? The same orders pervading me pervades every other physical form. COVID was a good lesson to teach us that. It didn't skip UK, it didn't skip US, it didn't skip certain people. It affected the whole Jagat, which shows what? That is an order there. There is an order. That is Ishvara for us. So I understand Ishvara as the total, the one samashti, the orders that pervade the individual as well. I resolve myself in Ishvara. My psychology is also pervaded by Ishvara. This is another beautiful aspect that Swami Dayananda brought into our lives, the psychological order. So many things can be assimilated with bringing in Ishvara into my psychology. My past was in order. My hurt, other people's omissions and commissions towards me that left me hurt in my life is also in order, Ishvara's order. Maybe I had to go through that. They were just nimitta for what was already in me. That's another thing that we learn. We don't blame anybody for anything because all Jagat is only nimitta for what I have inside already. In fact, the people who are pushing my buttons are helping me most to grow. People who are praising me all the time, although we like to be around them, people who praise me, who worship me, they are the ones reducing my punya account. The people who are shouting at me, they're pushing my buttons, they're actually reducing my papa. So, how do we look at things? That's again, with Vedānta, you start seeing things in a different light as well. And you take, Ishvara as the order behind their psychology also. They could not have done differently. I could not have reacted differently. The hurt is there, but I offer the hurt to Ishvara. So Ishvara in the form of psychological order, also my guilt. What I did before, with the knowledge I have now, I have guilt, right? At that time, would I have done that action or said those words if I knew I would be guilty now? Nobody would do. So how can I blame myself for something I had no knowledge of? It is only with regard to karma phalam that I have guilt and regret. So guilt and regret, I can also see that it is Ishvara's order. I can resolve in my psychology, whole psychology, in the order of Ishvara, because he is infallible. Infallible is Ishvara. We don't say Ishvara is infallible. Infallible is Ishvara. He cannot go wrong. When I know that this order cannot go wrong, what happens is a total trust. There is total devotion. This bhakti is developed. Lord Krishna explains beautifully in a verse in the 9th chapter how I can cultivate this devotion. The 7th to 12th chapters, if you want to practice bhakti, then these are very good chapters to read. He says, Manmana bhava bhaktaha matyaji mam namaskuru mame veshyasi yuktvevam atmanam matparayanaha. May you become one whose mind is committed to me. So his mind is committed to me means manasikam karma. So we have 3 karanas at our disposal. The mind, the vak. Vak has a very interesting role, no? It has in karmendriya and jnanendriya, double role. One with yap role and one with taste. Both get into trouble. So here, vachikam karma as well I offer. May I commit my words to Ishvara as well. May you become one who is devoted to me. May you become my bhaktaha. May you be one who offers these actions, activities, yaji, rituals actually, but any activity we can include there. May you become one whose kayikam karma is committed to me, which is the one I do with my karmendriyas, organs of action, and also my vachikam. So manasikam, vachikam, kayikam, all covered in this verse. And may you surrender unto me. And we know surrender is always in the form of non-resistance to what is. Ishvara is in the form of what is. Surrender means I don't resist. That egoic ahankara is like, it's like Teflon. Whatever, non-stick. Whatever happens, it doesn't stick because Ishvara is there. Everything happens for the best. Everything happens for a reason. And he says also, having prepared yourself in this way, keeping me as the ultimate end, may you discover me, may you reach me. So this verse is such a profound verse. Krishna himself, in the first person, he says that practice this devotional attitude. And what is this, why does this devotion again help us in our spiritual pursuit? So with this devotional attitude, I find my mind becoming more and more samatvam, more and more still. So the practice is actually to give you that stillness of mind which is unshaken by pairs of opposites. So Ishvara's anugraha gives that, the commitment to Ishvara through bhakti, because I cannot control my future. Many things I cannot control. Future is one of them. I have no control over what is going to manifest next. So I trust Ishvara's order. Whatever is going to manifest will manifest. Diseases may come, illnesses, anything may be in store for any of us. So with invoking grace, I'm able to take that strength and courage to face the challenges I'm able to have in my life. So Bhagavad Gita, I was thinking, as a text, it's such a beautiful text where Krishna talks about, this devotional practice in many, many of the chapters. He also talks about growing devotion. So artharti, you start with artha bhakta in a verse in the 7th chapter, very famous verse, he talks about artha bhakta, the devotee in distress. Devotees in distress are the ones, like suddenly you start praying. Like if there's turbulence on the flight. I remember there's a very, I was in a very, very difficult flight once when I was very young. I was traveling alone at that time. And I think the pilot deliberately, I don't know why, but he flew into a thunderstorm, and all these air pockets, it was going up and down, like, dropping 2,000 feet and going up, and everybody, so many people were vomiting and everything was going everywhere. And suddenly you hear, Allahu Akbar, and you hear all different languages, oh, Jesus Christ, please save us. All, people's praying in different languages. Suddenly that artha devotion came up. Bhagavan became so real on that flight. I was also chanting, Om, 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 Om. So we're doing our own things. But it was very interesting to see this devotion. Sudden devotion comes when we're in distress. For spiritual life, we have to grow out of that. People say this is 4 types of devotees. But Swamiji always, he also gave another understanding of it. It is a growth in devotion. So not 4 types of devotees. You could be this devotee now, but you grow from this artha devotee, grow also from artharthi devotee. I call them the business devotees. I'll give you a nice shaligrama mala, or I'll give you a gold crown if you give me this promotion. So a lot of people visiting temples will be business devotees, bartering. Bhagavan, give me this, I'll give you this. I'll do 108 pradakshina, but you have to do this, So this artharthi also, but Krishna doesn't judge, he's just pointing out, at least these people are devoted to me. At least they recognize that I am the extra factor in their lives. But grow out of these 2 types and become a jignasu devotee. Jignasu devotee is the one who wants to know me, the one who wants to discover me. And of course, jnani devotee is the one who is me, who recognizes me. So very beautifully, devotion is also a growing practice, growing from all of these types of devotion to becoming, again, a jignasu devotee and relaxing in the order of Ishvara. Not clamoring for karma phalam all the time. That's what it means, relaxation. I don't clamor for karma phalam. There's a very, again, some of these stotras, have a beautiful meaning. There's a very wonderful verse in this Shiva Manasa Puja. I think it is the 4th verse of Shiva Manasa Puja. And there, Adi Shankaracharya says, let me see if I can remember it. I don't think I've got it here. Atmatvam girijamatis sahachara prana shariram griham pujate vishayopabogarachana nidra samadhistitihi sancharaf padayo pradakshina vidhihi stotrani sarvagiraha yatyat karma karomi tattadakhilam shambho tavaradhanam. Such beautiful meaning. Atmatvam girijamati. So you are my Atma, you are myself, O Lord. Girija, goddess Girija is my intellect, my matihi. Prana shariram griham. So this pranas, the life forces, the sense organs are your attendants. And my body is your abode. You live, this body, this temple. Bhagavan is resident of this temple, of the physical form, is his abode. And Vishayopaboga Rachana, Puja Te Vishayopaboga Rachana. This puja I'm doing in this temple, what is it? The Vishayas of the Jagat are the puja I'm doing. So this Vishayas come in through all the sense organs. All the sense objects are the puja I'm doing to Bhagavan in the temple here. Very beautiful. And Nidra Samadhi Sthitihi. So when I am asleep, you're in Samadhi. Your Samadhi is my sleep. Sancharaf Padayo Pradakshina Vidihi. My moving around is doing pradakshina to you. Whenever I walk, I move around in the world, is doing pradakshina to the Lord. Yat yat karma karomi tattadakhilam. Whatever actions I perform in this world, let it be as an offering to Shambho, to that Lord, to Ishvara. So this is the practice of devotion. You grow from seeing, grow from this Artha Bhakta, Artharthi, Jignasu, and you recognize Bhagavan as everything in life. Then the ego also, this ahankara, individuality that we find so alluring and so wonderful. We love to hold on to that individual self. It slowly diminishes in the order of Ishvara. Swamiji said that today. Where are you left? When you understand Ishvara, where are you? There is no you there. It is all Ishvara ultimately. So I think quickly I will just do Dhyanam, which is the last one. śraddhā-bhakti-dhyānayogād-avaihi. So Dhyanam can be taken in two ways. One is Ishvara Upasanam, meditating on Ishvara. And our traditional definition of Dhyanam is Saguna Brahma Vishaya Manasa Vyaparaha. So invoking Ishta Devata or a certain form of the divine and meditating and concentrating, focusing on that. So why is this important? So this attitude of bhakti and living the karma yoga lifestyle can take care of antavkarana shuddhi or purity of mind. One can reduce the raga, dvesha, binding likes and dislikes through this lifestyle of karma yoga. But there could be a lot of vikshepa. So malas we can reduce, mala which is the mental impurities through the lifestyle of karma yoga. But what about the distractedness of the mind, vikshepa, going all over the place? May be pure, but it's not focused. So that is why dhyanam becomes also a practice, something to be cultivated in spiritual life. It is important to be able to concentrate, to be able to focus. So dhyana is again manasika karma, and manasika karma produces more drishta phalam. So drishta phalam means seen result. Adrishta phalam you get through kayikam and vachika karma. So adrishtam is for producing punya, but dhyanam can give you immediate result. So that is why meditation also becomes very important in our spiritual lives, because we don't want after death results, right? We don't want after results. So punya more, now I'm looking for antavkarna shuddhi, chitta naishchalyam, which is the steadiness of mind needed. And is this the end? This is the end. Is steadiness of mind and purity of the mind the end in our pursuit? No. With that steadiness, with that purity, if I put the mind to Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam, again, the results, the Jnana Phalam will be very, very great. So here, dhyana is again important for us to focus our mind. Arjuna says in the 6th chapter of Gita, a very famous verse, and he reflects the minds of all humanity. He says, Chanchalam himana Krishna pramati balavadridam tasyaham nigraham manye vayurivasu dushkaram. Oh Bhagavan, the mind is so restless, it is so obstinate, it is stubborn. I'm not able to control it. It is as difficult to control as the wind. And what does Krishna say? Krishna answers him immediately. You know, what does he say? Stop talking rubbish, Arjuna. You can do it. Don't tell me like this. You have to do it. Krishna is so compassionate. You see throughout the Gita, Krishna's compassion, right from first chapter. I mean, first of all, he listens to all of Arjuna's ranting and raving, like, 48, 47 verses going on. Like super therapist, Krishna's listening. He doesn't say a word. And then you see throughout the Gita how beautifully, patiently he addresses Arjuna's questions and doubts. In the same way, after this verse, he says, I know it's difficult to control, but he gives two practices that will help. And these practices help with, again, everything in life. He says, Asamshayam mahabaho mano durnigraham chalam abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagena cha grihyate. So it is difficult, I understand, but with objectivity, don't judge yourself. Keep trying, even if you fail, keep trying. Have that objectivity towards life. And he says, abhyasa, practice. Anything in life is like that, I don't know here, but in England, when the child is learning to ride the bicycle, there are always these two wheels by the side of the back wheel called stabilizers. So the child has to practice with the stabilizers for a length of time. And after they're taken off, it's still wobbling around. It falls many times, but it keeps trying again and again and again. And cycling is mastered because of abhyasa. So everything in life, without practice, nothing happens. So practice makes perfect. There is a saying in English, keep doing. So even with this meditation, people say, a lot of people say, I can't meditate. I sit and I'm not able to meditate. But if you understand the definition of meditation, definitely everybody can meditate for at least 5-10 minutes. Meditation is nothing but bringing the mind back when it wanders. The definition of dhyanam is not to sit and have an empty mind. This is what people think. I have to sit and my mind should be totally clean and empty. Will that ever happen? No, it doesn't happen. That's why you think, I can't meditate. No. But if you understand, meditation is bringing the mind back. Every time it wanders, keep bringing it back to this form of Ishvara. If you don't have a form you can take up, bring it back to a light, a jyoti. You can do jyoti meditation, but something saguna, something with the form. When you keep practicing, what happens to the mind? It starts staying. Your meditation time also increases because you have practiced it. So here Bhagavan says, abhyasa. This is the key in life. Keep practicing, because meditation, is a practice that brings you this chitta naischalya. So I think with that, there are a lot more things I can say, but I think with this, there's these three practices that we can include in our spiritual lives, especially in our Vedanta study. It's very wonderful. What I have found in my teaching in the West is that people love to hear Vedanta. Everybody everywhere loves to hear Vedanta. Not everybody, but people who like to listen, they like to hear Vedanta. But there's a discrepancy between what is heard, what is understood, what is assimilated, and what we are facing in our day-to-day lives. There's always this gap, between what is happening in my day-to-day life, all my reactiveness, all this, and plus I'm studying Vedanta. You're Brahman, you're free, you're pure, all of this study is going in, and I'm having this type of life. So what is that breaches that gap? What do I have to do? So even though Vedanta is not about theory and practice, along with knowledge, that's why the Bhagavad Gita becomes a crucial text in our tradition. It has how to deal with your life, basically. Even from dietary habits. Bhagavan discusses dietary habits in the Gita. And how to sit for meditation. All of these practices become crucial to assimilating the words of Vedanta. Vedanta is very simple. Within 5 minutes, you know, Tattvamasi. But we study for 20, 30 years. And, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, I'm doing japa on it, but it is not showing up. Where is this self-revealing, self-shining Atma that everybody is talking about? So that is where we need to work with the adhikaritvam. There is certain practices, and most of the texts talk about these practices also. Śraddhā-bhakti-dhyānam is also mentioned in the Upanishad. Usually practices are not brought in Upanishad, but in Kaivalya, this one line is there, and it's very important for preparation. So along with Vedanta Shravanam, these practices have to be brought in and they have to be practiced. For how long? However long. There's no time limit here. So however long you need to keep practicing, maybe lifelong, and maybe you may not make it in this life, but Bhagavan says, don't worry, in 6th chapter, Suchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yogo Brashto. If you got 1 foot in the world and 1 foot in spiritual life, he says, don't worry. All the sadhana you've done, you can carry over to your next janma. I will give you a very good birth. You'll be born in a rich and cultured family who will have access to Vedanta. Or, you will be born in a karma yogi family whose, purse strings, just enough you have in your life. But I will make sure you have a birth in which you will pick up the thread of Vedanta. So nothing is ever lost. We just keep doing what is to be done, and Vedanta is a guide for that. So with that, I wish you all very much success in your spiritual pursuit, and I hope you all discover and assimilate this jnanam in this one life itself. Hari Om. We'll finish with the bhajan? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Govinda Rama, Jai Jai Gopal Rama. 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 Madhava Rama, Jai Jai Keshava 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 Rama. Govinda Rama, Jai Jai Gopal Rama. Govinda Rama, Gopal Rama. Durlabha Rama, Jai Jai Sulabha Rama. Durlabha Rama, Jai Jai Sulabha Rama. Durlabha Rama, Jai Jai Sulabha Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om